Hi guys, welcome to the Eternal Quest Tarot, or welcome back if you are returning. So with today's reading, I'm going to be looking into the question, does your person really miss you at this time? And my intention is to read for romantic connections, but of course it could apply to other relationships like friendships and whatnot. But yeah, the intention is to keep this focused on romantic connections. And if the other answers, like what they're thinking at this time, what they're going through, and just in general where their energy is at, if those answers do come through with this reading, I'm going to be of course talking about that too. Before we go into the pile selection, I do want to say one thing though, that given the question excuse me, given the question that we are asking, do they really miss you? It's understandable if some of you are right now not in a very great state of mind, as in you're not feeling as composed and calm and grounded as you otherwise would be, and which is completely understandable and completely fine. And if you think that you are in a very sensitive, emotionally sensitive space, and you think that the answers to those questions could easily trigger your feelings and make you feel even more worse than you were before watching the reading, then I would recommend that you save this video for later and watch it at a time where you're feeling much more calm and much more open to listening to whatever answers come through for this question. The reason I say this is because I am a very blunt, for lack of a better word, sort of a tarot reader. I don't really sugarcoat the messages. I'm actually not very good at sugarcoating the messages, and sometimes I do recognize that my delivery can come across as like harsh or straightforward, or like without a lot of tact, you know what I mean? And that's just me, that's just my shortcoming, I guess. With the tarot reader, I'm not for everyone, and I'm definitely not for people that are looking to hear a specific message, or wanting to watch a reading to just feel better, because I don't know what answers are going to come through in this reading, but I'm going to tell you as it is, because otherwise I think there is no point in me doing any readings, and there's no point in you watching it if you don't get the message in its most concise, purest form. So with that said, let's get into the pile selection. I have my crystals already picked out, and for the card to pick in this reading, I'm going to draw a card from the Morgan Tarot deck. It's a very abstract kind of tarot deck with wonderful cards and really surprising meanings to these cards. I mean, sometimes when you look at the image, the meaning that it implies is actually totally different. So let's get a card for pile 1. What is this card for? What is the energy for pile 1? And I say that because I find that more often than not, you can really tie the reading to the card that we select during pile selection, I find. Sometimes that's not the case, but more often than not, that is the case. So for the first one, it says, do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. And that's with the clear quartz crystal. What's the card for pile 2? Whoops. Let's get a card for pile 2. And the card just says Baba, and we have 2 hearts that are interlaced one is upside down and the other is upright. So that's the second card. With I don't quite remember the name of this crystal, but I'm going to give you an up-close look in a second. It's like a beige with a few tones of blue, not so blue, brown, waning in it, but I really have forgotten the name. For the third pile, we have, this card, and it says whatever's right, and the symbols I see are lotuses on the surface of a lake or pond or whatever. But yeah, that's the card for pile 3. Let's give you a closer look at the cards. So the first one is this clear quartz crystal with this card: do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. That's pile 1. Pile 2 is the card with just Baba on it with this crystal. Like I said, I apologize, I completely forgot the name of this crystal. Let me know in the comments below if you do recognize what crystal this is. But yeah, that's for pile 2. For pile 3, it's this card, whatever is right, with the lotuses on it, and this is the orange calcite crystal. Okay, so take your time in making the selection. Pause the video if you would like a few more seconds, a few more minutes. Go with your first instinct is what I would recommend. And all the timestamps to the readings will be in the description box of this video, as always. And you can click on it and it will take you to the reading. So I will see you there. Bye. Hi pile 1, so if you chose the clear quartz crystal with this card which says do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger, this is your reading. And I was looking up the meaning of this particular card in the guidebook, and as I said in the intersection, this is quite an interesting deck. The messages that are printed on the cards, they are quite bizarre in a way and don't really hint clearly about what this card is about. And the meaning of this card, the implied meaning here, is sort of like a warning to the recipient of the message to not get into something when they are not feeling prepared for it. So preparation before starting something or before getting into something is key here. And this makes me feel like the energy of someone who maybe got into a relationship and not really feeling ready for it in the first place, but still continuing on. That kind of vibe is what is coming through this card, but I could be wrong. We'll see how this message correlates with the message of the reading at the end of the reading. So let's see, maybe it will, maybe it won't. So for your reading, I have chosen the Mountain Dream Tarot deck. Today I'm just in a mood to work with my picture decks, basically decks that have actual human portraits for tarot cards. So that's what I mean by picture decks, in case you were wondering. And yeah, let's get started. We'll first start with the tarot, and then we'll look at the oracle messages to get a deeper insight, and then we will move on to some messages for you guys if you are interested in staying for that portion of the reading. But let's look into the question, does your person miss you? Do they really miss pile 1? And we are starting with the 7 of Wands. Does your person miss you, pile 1? We have the Fool energy, Does your person miss you, pile one? Oops. Okay, this jumped off. We have the Nine of Cups energy. Interesting. Whoops, this card wants to come out. We have the Eight of Swords. Let's get two more cards. Does your person miss you? Pile one. We have the Five of Wands. I'm going to put this card here just so I have space for the 6-card spread that I feel like doing for this reading. Does your person miss you? Pile one. We have the King of, the King of Wands. Okay. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the Four of Wands. Or sorry, the Six of Wands. Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna say that your person does miss you, okay, but it's quite possible that they are completely in denial about their feelings, okay? And with the Nine of Cups energy, that's what is drawing my attention in the spread. And I'm kind of getting the sense that for your person, it's almost like this relationship was more about flattering their own ego, you know, presenting kind of a picture to the world. And maybe that's because in some ways your person knew that you were a catch, okay? And I feel like you guys are a catch. And you would make anyone extremely happy and very proud to have you by their side, and that's the exact same thing that I see going on here. But I feel like, you know, looking at the energies otherwise, other than this, like wanting you by their side for their own ego or as a way to make themselves feel better, I really get that sense of immaturity with your person at the time that they were connected to you or in a relationship with you. Like immediately when I looked at the Fool card, I was reminded of this card that we had for your pile selection, which was all about like not getting into something if you're not prepared. And while the Fool is mostly seen as extremely courageous, and it is like a courageous energy, you know, like getting into something or taking a leap of faith. Like literally in all the tarot cards, the rendition of the Fool is that of jumping off a cliff without really knowing, you know, where they are gonna land. And that takes a lot of courage, and that takes a lot of faith in their own selves and also in life. But I feel like especially with this spread, because we have the energy of the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Swords, and the Five of Wands, so really someone who is immature in a way that they were not ready for the feelings, and they were not ready to deal with a connection which demanded them to be far more mature than they were capable of. It's almost like, you know, we have the King of Wands energy here, and the King of Wands is quite a mature energy in the tarot, the archetype of the king compared to, let's say, the Page of Wands energy, okay? So the King of Wands demands a certain level of maturity and grounding that goes with the Wands energy, which is all about fire. So the King of Wands is about, you know, pursuing his or her like own passions, but
with the king, with the archetype of a king, comes a level of maturity, of understanding the details of what it would take to pursue that passion. And I feel like your person was just not ready. Okay, so I do not mean to imply that your person is like immature and young. So this, can or cannot be about chronological age, and it might depend on, whatever, whoever you're thinking of in your relationship. But quintessentially, someone who got into this relationship in a very rushed manner, but were fully not ready to see the importance of this connection and the fact that there's more to you other than just like this ego trip for them. I really feel like, this connection was something like that they, kind of showed off to other people, and it made them feel really good about themselves at the time like the relationship existed. They definitely saw you as like, the prize, and feeling quite proud about it. But when it comes to actually executing the relationship and really connecting with someone, I feel like this person has a lot of blockages and a lot of conflicting thoughts and conflicting energies within them. Okay, the Eight of Swords is that prison, that mental prison that we sometimes find ourselves in. But here's the thing with the Eight of Swords energy, that prison is always self-imposed. So it's an analogy, and this might be very boring to hear if you have watched my other readings, because it's an analogy that I have used before with my other videos, but every time the Eight of Swords pops up, but basically think of being in a prison, locking the door by yourself, like you're locking it with your own hands and you're throwing away the key, but you're telling other people that you are in prison, which is really not the case. It's basically you are choosing to remain stuck, okay, in a place, like for example a prison cell, and it's a choice that you have made. You're not really in prison, or rather, like, it's not like a punishment that was imposed on you, so you're not really as helpless as you think. Like, look at this Eight of Swords image. You have the woman, she's tied up, she has these swords, and she has, like the rope going around her. She also has a blindfold, so which is inability to do like a truthful, honest assessment of the situation that she finds herself in. She can actually free herself very easily because her actual hands are really free. It would just be, if you can see that, I hope the camera is focusing and I hope that it's visible. It's just literally wrapped around once on her hands and looks like a bind that she can really get out of. Remove the blindfold and literally walk away from the side. The swords are not really blocking her exit or anything like that. So this is basically being imprisoned. These are our limiting thoughts, our limiting self-beliefs, and just beliefs in general. So maybe in the context of the relationship. So I feel like the message that I'm getting here, I feel like your person, even if they do miss you, okay, it's something that they are really blocking at this time and really not seeing clearly and really not able to understand the value of those emotions. Okay, I also feel a very like fiery, egotistical energy, lots of fire in the spread. So think about all the fire signs, and they might be significant in your person's chart, but maybe not. But basically what they're bringing to the table, or what they're manifesting in this connection, is a lot of fire energy. So operating from a sense of ego rather than things being rooted in their heart chakra or their heart space. Okay, so Seven of Wands is someone that is, again, like wanting to protect what's theirs. And I feel like your person, what's theirs is their own energy, their own life. And again, I'm getting a very selfish kind of a vibe from your person, in which they are more prone to like protecting their own heart, by blocking off these urges, so to speak, that they might have. So definitely I feel like I'm more inclined to say that your person is missing you, but right now the case might be that they themselves are not acknowledging those feelings. So if you were to ask them, for example, if they did miss you, they are more likely to say like no, and more likely to sort of portray an image of someone that has already moved on, or they're not even like thinking about it. But know that that is not the truth. That is definitely not the truth. There is a lot of inner work that is needed here, that your person needs to work on, especially resolving this Eight of Swords energy within them, the limiting thoughts that they have towards themselves. I mean, I'm getting the sense for some of you, I'm hearing that they even have problems in communicating their feelings, and seeing communication as I want to say unnecessary, but more precisely what I'm trying to say is that they see it as like a worthless activity, especially in relationships. So maybe this is your experience of them as well, but like when you were connected, this person can't really go deep into their feelings and be verbal about it, be able to like express about it. And even if they can, they think that it's like a worthless thing to engage in, or it's like pointless, because maybe they have not been understood in the past. Maybe their words were not received really well in the past. And when I say past, it could be a past relationship, or maybe that's how they have been brought up, where they are more prone to keeping things close to their chest. And finding that very challenging, as well as, like, as I said, a worthless exercise within relationships and connections. With the Five of Wands energy, I feel like, again, this is of conflict. This is conflicting energies. So I'm also getting, like, at times, your person, the conflict that seems to be going on within them, it's between, wanting to acknowledge that they do miss you, and that they have things to address or to learn from this relationship, but they need to do something about this, like something about the feelings that they are suppressing, but at the same time not wanting to do exactly that. So if I'm making sense there. So I think that this is the conflict that they live with, and it's just not, it's not just related to this relationship. I think that's how this person really lives their life for some reason. Like I said, this is making me think of like past trauma, things from their other relationships maybe in the past that they have been through, and it just seemed like a learned behavior with your person, and something that they really need to work on. And it's almost like your person resists change, and I mean internal change. So resists like transformation, resists the act of growing up, and they are very much happy vibing with this Fool energy. But like I said, in this tarot reading with your spread, I'm kind of getting the shadow aspects of the Fool, not the light aspects, which talks about like courage and taking a leap of faith, and having trust within themselves, and also trusting their own life. So that's not what I'm getting. Unfortunately, I'm getting like, literally a fool, like an idiot, for a lack of a better term. But having a lot of that fake confidence, I feel like, and always trying to portray to the world that they are doing very, very much fine, and they are like coming out of this relationship didn't really affect them, or something like that, like on the lines of that. But I'm also getting the sense from this Six of Wands energy that, you know, they saw this connection, as the Six of Wands as well as the Nine of Cups. I feel like it was more of a egotistical, like, you know, ego trip for them, rather than like being present in the real sense of the term for a relationship and for a connection. So already I see like how this ties to this card that you picked for your pal selection, which talks about like getting into something without being prepared, and that usually leads to a lot of mess. It leads to a lot of things to be dealt with, okay? But unfortunately, like I said, I can see in the cards that your person has a lot of work to do in order to grow up and get to this like King of Wands energy. But it's almost like I'm looking at the king, and, you know, he's holding his wand to the side and almost like away from his body. And that's the thing that intuitively makes me feel like your person is resisting that growth and resisting that, you know, stepping up into a more mature kind of energy, and just like vibing in this Fool energy. So let's get some oracle cards for you and see what else comes up. I'm going to draw oracle cards from a few different oracle decks, and I wanted to do this step like before the reading, but I was not sure if I should or shouldn't, so I just left it to do it within the read itself. And it's okay if you lose patience with me as I draw these oracle cards. Just skip ahead to whatever time that, you know, the cards look to be drawn on the table. Just lift ahead, or skip ahead, sorry. And it says, let your friends help you. So I'm getting influences from their circle of friends that is coming through, the energy of, you know, their influence on this connection, and also on your person in terms of how they saw this connection. I feel like their friend circle or the social circle that they move around in has been pivotal in some way in determining what they did or the decisions that they make. And it could be something that is actually, I'm going to put this card here, that is actually impeding their progress, so to speak. Like I said, this person really wants to portray a certain image out to the world, and it doesn't matter to them. Mask, oh wow, look at that. Not showing true feelings, hide, personify, pretend, delude, or gaslighting. Isn't that exactly what we were talking about just right this minute? That your person is very much, you know, wearing a mask and portraying themselves to be one way, whereas, you know, the truth might be something completely unrelated, and surprisingly, maybe even the opposite of that, you know. Like, as I said, they try to show the world that everything is okay, that they've moved on from the connection, that they are unaffected by it, and even within them, they seem to be quite blocked in terms of their own feelings towards you, but that's not the truth. We have the Sacred Woman, okay. I might get a few clarifying cards for this energy, the Sacred Woman. I'll try to connect with it. What message is trying to give in this reading? Does your person miss you? Power on. We have power with lightning. Lightning and power makes me think of a tower moment, and there are two messages that are coming through. First, I think that your person is literally, you know, waiting for a tower moment to happen. Not like consciously waiting, like it's not like they sit there and hope. It says the goblin, the wounded human ego. Again, yes, I'm getting that. A lot of wounding, and a way, this portraying an image, so to speak, is their way of showing to the world that they are fine when they're really not, and that usually comes from a wounded ego. So this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, coming back to lightning, there are two messages actually that I'm getting. One is that, spiritually speaking, a tower moment might be something that is coming up in your person's life very soon, around the corner. And in this case, I feel like it's almost essential that they have that tower moment, which is kind of like an awakening, where it's like destruction of the egotistical self, almost the breakdown of the egotistical self, and a recognition of sorts that what you're creating in your life is coming from you, and so the source of it needs to be majorly fixed. So this is like really a really powerful awakening. So that's one message that I'm getting. And the other thing with the keyword power, I feel like your person, like I said, comes across as like selfish in a way, but that's to do with their wounding and all the like immaturity that they bring to the table. And it could be that this person chose to end things with you before you could do that to them. But again, it is that self-preserving, egotistical energy that is coming through that likes to do, or take actions such as these as a way of escaping any kind of consequences or having to be real with someone. So it's possible that they might have, as this card says, quote, gaslighting. They have not acknowledged your feelings because they don't acknowledge their own feelings. Duh. And they could have even coasted you. Okay, so just left this connection. So it depends on how intensely this drive to always feel like they are in power and feel like they are in control and in charge, with the Seven of Wands and Six of Wands energies there. It depends on how intensely this manifested in the connection, but that's what is going on here. I'm going to clarify the energy around the sacred woman, because I'm really unable to connect. I kind of feel like this is talking about your vibe, and I feel like, yeah, now I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay, so I feel like this is talking about your vibe and how they viewed you in this connection, maybe subconsciously so, and maybe deep down in their hearts, because your person, I feel like they're nowhere close to admitting this like openly to you or to others. But you're someone that really sort of gave a glimpse to your person as to what it is to live a life that is heart-centered. We have this woman that's really, if in the palm of our hands, we have that heart chakra. That's also making me think of like forgiveness, and your person might wonder from time to time if you have moved on, or if you are in a place that will allow you to forgive them. And I feel like intuitively I'm getting the sense that for most of you, you have really forgiven this person and sent them the love and sent them their way, after everything went down, whatever the details might be in your connection. And I'm also getting like a very clear, headstrong vibe from the sacred woman. So it's almost like, for some of you, definitely, you intimidated this person with your true power. Okay, so even though this person wanted to feel more powerful in, making the choice to end your connection or to let this go or to walk away from you, and whatnot, which is, coming from their wounded ego, as this card says, and not really truly about, being powerful, because well, you know why, like true power doesn't really budge in terms of holding their own stance or holding their own position in the face of difficulties. So that's true power, and not behaviors that come out of the energy that I'm reading here of your person. So I feel like they got a glimpse from you, and yeah, you two were very different in the connection. I'm also sensing a lot of grounded energy coming through. So definitely more grounded, more mature in terms of handling your own emotions and working through them and letting yourself be led by your feelings. A definitely more courageous sort of vibe from the sacred woman. Like think of, the Fool energy here. But in its most positive light. That's the sense that I'm getting, like someone who's not afraid to speak their heart, to follow their heart, and you really showed them what it means to be guided in a way, because I'm seeing this, whether it's a ram or a sheep, I can't tell, but a horned creature, and basically the horns represent wisdom and spiritual growth. So you really showed this person what it is like to be truly guided in life, truly guided within a connection, and not just like employ or not just work through this wounded human ego and call manifestations of behaviors that come from a wounded ego as like being powerful or successful. So I feel like that they definitely recognize them, but I feel like your person is, like I said, just not ready to deal with it, okay? To really acknowledge it to the extent that this beautiful energy deserves acknowledgement, and they're certainly not ready at this point of time to imbibe it into their own beings and to allow it to transform them. I'm going to draw more cards for the for this portion, which is like getting a sense of where they are at. So I'm going to say yes and no both for pile 1's question if I didn't really clarify that in the beginning, but no, not because of the no is not because of like you or something that you did in the connection that have kind of really turned your person off, for example, from this connection. I feel like this is about them being so unprepared for a connection like that. And we have Centipede with Focus. Gets more. Does your person really miss you? Or at this point I should be asking the question like what else is going on them, where they're at. The centipede, makes me think of, if you observe the centipede in nature, you'll see it like walking on a path, and no one knows where it's going, but of course the centipede does. But it's basically just like walking all the time and getting to like point A to point B, and just this walking, the 100 legs of the centipede, and this like staying busy walking. I feel like your person at this time might be telling themselves that they have something else to focus on, which is far more important than this connection and all the learning that they need to really see that has come from this connection. But they are completely ignoring that, and they are kind of keeping their focus and staying busy. That this energy of staying busy is coming through. We have Finding Grace with Star Flower. It's interesting that it came up on the Sacred Woman card, because I feel like this is more about you rather than the person. And finding grace is all about like graceful acceptance. That's the thing that comes to mind. Also forgiveness and moving on. So I feel like for most of you, you have already kind of left this connection behind. And if you haven't, it would be best, I feel like, at this time to leave it behind gracefully and to honor it for whatever it was. Think about the lessons that you yourself learned from the connection, and taking that and moving on into your life to something better. If you are looking for a connection for yourself, or looking open for a love relationship, so find your grace, whatever that means for you, whether it's like deeper understanding of this person, and forgiving them, whether it means like your soul's evolution, and going to relatively greater heights than where you are spiritually speaking right now. So see how that applies in your life, because I really think that this set of cards, these two, are talking about you for some reason, and I completely believe that it's a message that you needed to hear. So let's see some more at where their energy is at this time. I'm gonna also do some channels and messages at the end. Polar Bear, it says, allow any anxieties. The keyword is nurture, first of all, and it says allow any anxieties and worries to be gently released and offered up to be healed. So I feel like your person at this time is, again, like I said, focusing on themselves, and whatever like this nurture energy implies for them, I feel like they are, parts of them are, well, first of all, I do see the mask and like portraying a picture like everything is fine, but this is, kind of behind the curtain, really connecting with their own selves. I feel like for some of you, they are doing that, and they are nurturing their own spirit at this time. This is also making me, I'm hearing like for some of you, this could also mean that your person is actually feeling quite wounded in this connection, and they are, focused on, I'm getting like inner child healing, so they might be starting their journey towards like healing themselves and their inner child wounds, because certainly, these tendencies, these, limiting beliefs, limiting ideas, and, just faulty pattern of behavior that could be coming from their childhood and how they were treated as a child. So inner child healing, they might be taking baby steps towards that, but if not to that extent, which is more likely given, the immature energy and the resistance to really looking within themselves that I find with your person. So maybe not to that extent, but they might be beginning to take baby steps, or they are basically nurturing, licking their wounds, kind of retreating in their own shell and licking their wounds and making themselves feel better, whatever that implies for this person. Let's take more. So what is your person going through right now? What is your person going through right now? Okay. We have the spiritual strength card, but that has come up in reverse, and this is the strength card in reverse. So I feel like your person, when I see the strength card in reverse, I feel like, it actually encapsulates all those things that we have been talking about, like really the inability to deal with your inner world in the right way. Which implies, facing your problems head on, looking at the roots of your issues, and trying to master them or trying to heal them, which kind of goes hand in hand. If you want to master something like that, you have to work with your own healing, or healing would be kind of like the first step, you know what I mean? So this is the inability to really do that, and I'm getting a lot of energy of like just coping with what is and doing the best that they can, but they're not really getting to the roots of the issue. And this card makes me feel like there is still some time before that happens for your person, before they're able to really look within themselves and, like I said, get to the root of the problem, and really recognize something as a problem also. I feel like right now they seem to be like living more in the ego without really having tamed the inner beast, so to speak, that the strength card represents. Okay, let's get some tea leaf cards. Oops. if I can pick them up. Since I did my nails, I've been having trouble picking up cards from the table. Come on, I want you in this reading. Okay, hold on, this is what I'll do. There we go. I had to slide it to the edge to get it in my hands. But this is all about, this is the astrological house, kind of astral house portion of the tea leaf cards. If you have not seen them, it's like a whole bunch of like circular cards that I find impossible to shuffle, so I store it in a bag like this, but that's a different story. This is the astral house portion, which kind of tells us their focus at this time. What are they energetically focused on? And I'm going to take this one. So it says happiness. Yeah, so I feel like whatever, maybe dysfunctional ways, maybe immature ways that your person is engaged in right now, they desire happiness. Their soul really desires happiness, and I think that they're trying to find their happiness in this mess, because suppression of feelings and not facing our problems head on, that can only work up to a certain point. But even when we are stuck in a place like that energetically, I feel like we still want to be happy. We want to be positive. And I feel like your person is really focusing on their own happiness, and this is sort of understandable, but it's sort of annoying as well, in the context of like the greater like energies that we saw with your person, where it's like you want happiness, but when will you see what true happiness is, and what will make you see the path to like truly being happy? I feel like this is a very surface level connection with the emotion of happiness, and it's more momentary rather than like being truly happy with their own selves and their own lives for this person. So in that sense, it's kind of annoying, but also something that at least I can understand, being stuck in the space that they're stuck in. And sometimes, for a while on our journeys, we have to remain stuck, and we have to go through the consequences of that. Like I said, they're waiting for a tower moment to happen in their life. If it hasn't happened already, it's coming up soon for your person. Let's see some more tea leaf cards from the rest of the deck. Okay, so we have horseshoe with good luck. This almost makes me feel like saying good luck in a sarcastic way, like good luck, good luck finding happiness. Two-faced friend. Yeah, like I see with this card, let your friends help you. Maybe they're relying on their friends for help, but I'm kind of getting the energy of interference by other persons, by other people in this connection. And a two-faced friends, like their friend circle is really not that great. I'm getting the sense they are hanging out with the wrong kind of people. And we have bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. So that might be happening. That is what I feel like they're headed towards, really seeing the light of the day. And the good luck also, in another sense, jokes apart, like from the sarcastic tone, like jokes apart. I'm getting that maybe going through this phase and going through this connection is, in a way, lucky and positive for both of you, for different reasons maybe, because the spiritual lessons that they might be learning at this time are very different, I feel like, from what you have learned through this connection. So but all in all, I feel like this experience could be viewed in a positive light if we focus on the spiritual lessons, if you know what I mean. Okay, it says increase in material wealth and spiritual growth. So I feel like your person is headed to a place where they're bound to feel like genuine happiness and seeing the link between their past and their own selves and their experiences, their life, and their own inner world, and they're heading towards creating like more success in the material wealth or spiritual growth. Unfortunately, these cards, at least what we have read so far, they're not giving me a sense of reconciliation or them coming back to apologize or even acknowledging, what is happening. I feel like as of right now, that doesn't seem like a very big possibility, to be very honest with you. And I would really recommend and love for you guys to like let this go and allow just the universe to take care of it. Like if they come back or in whatever shape or form, like as a friend or someone who wants to apologize to you, then at the time, like deal with it when you get to it, cross the bridge when you come to it. But as of now, I don't see like this person is awake enough to be ready to do all of that. Okay, they might be getting there, but they have still such a lot of mess to clear first. So many barriers, self-created barriers, of course, to overcome. Okay, so at this time I would say it would be best to like just let them be, focus on your own self. That's truly what I'm feeling for most of you, and it's going to be your choice at the end as to whether you want to wait for your person or not wait for them, and let your intuition be the guide there. If you know this is your person, and if you find that you have found enough grace within you to be able to like forgive them and understand them deeply, and maybe sometimes when we find resonance in somebody else's journey, we become like more tolerant with that person. So if that's the case, like I said, let your intuition be the guide. And who am I to tell you, what to do? But overall, as of right now, just remain focused on yourself and keep doing what you're doing, because I feel like you're already, in a very good place within your life and in the context of this connection. So let's get some channel messages. What could they say to you if they could, or if they ever find the courage? What does that higher self want to say to you? What does their higher self want to say to you? We need to let each other go. So like I said, at least for the time being, your person is letting you know, or their higher self is letting you know, that it's best to like walk away from this connection, at least for right now when you're watching this reading. Always remember with tarot readings that we capture, or the energy that is drawn on the table, it's present energy and present circumstances, which can shift, absolutely. So I'm just talking about, and this reading is supposed to be timeless, so whenever you find it, that's when the messages are meant for you. But what I'm trying to say is, in this moment of time as you're watching this reading, this might be true for your connection, for most of you at least. Again, just a general reading, like I said, and not everything is meant for you. So let your intuition be the guide, and that's just being near you is intoxicating. So like I said, you definitely, kind of showed certain things to this person that made them feel uncomfortable. I feel like that they were not ready for, but it's almost like, everything that was, which was reflecting their own shadow back to them, it was intoxicating, and it did catch their attention, because it's the truth, and it has that vibe of what is true, love. So when all of those energies are present, it's hard to ignore them, I'm getting, so I feel like they couldn't ignore you, but they were not ready to deal with you. Okay, and we have, I'm becoming a better person. So I feel like your person is on a journey, might take a while, of course, but they are headed to a better path. Maybe after a tower moment, or maybe a tower moment won't be necessary, and for some of you, they might just realize these things. I don't know. Everybody's path is different. So I know I messed up everything. So yeah, I definitely know that there are regrets, and recognition, like their higher self does recognize, at least if they are not ready to like admit it to themselves, like through their conscious minds or consciously, it's all subconscious. And the deeper spiritual truth is like they know that they treated you in a wrong way in this connection. Let's get one more. My life is not as together as it seems. We already knew that with all the things that they're trying to do to put up appearances, keeping up appearances, and trying to portray that, they are just absolutely fabulous and unaffected, but it's not the truth. We also had the mask energy come up before, and I feel like your person really exhausts themselves and like putting up this show for the world to watch, which is not for their benefit, or something that doesn't benefit them at all. So anyways, I'm gonna leave your reading here. Actually, let's get into, before I let you go, you can stop watching here if you like, but I'm also going to draw a few oracle cards for you guys, just to get some advice into like what you should be focused on, what you should be doing at this time, in the context of everything that happened in this relationship. Because like I said, I do understand, like literally with a question like this, do they really miss me? It's got an emotional undertone of like pining or wanting to know more at this time, and I do understand that. I completely empathize. But if you're comfortable with and you're happy with the messages so far, you can stop watching the video here, and I'll just see you in the next reading. But if you're sticking around, we'll get some messages for you as to what you should be doing at this moment. What should you focus on? So, okay, what is Spirit? What is the advice for my Taiwan people? How should they be navigating the current situation? Oh, look at that. It says pleasure. Do something just for fun. Pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. So this makes me feel like, taking the focus off somewhat of, the pain, the problem, or just the vibe that you find yourself in, whether you are, like I said, in depression, feeling sad about it. So what would help is really doing something for fun for yourself, and that will kind of be like the first step, or the first step that you take towards like getting away from that funky sad vibe that you might find yourself in right now. And that can be healing, just taking the focus off and doing something else, doing something that you find to be a lot of fun. So go out and get working on that. Think about what you can do, and it could be several different things. Like I can't even guess at this point what that means for you, but really basically the idea is shift your focus a little bit, shift your focus away from this connection, away from this person. Stop wondering about them if you are, and I hope that this reading helps and really really helps you with that, with just that, like focusing away from this connection for a little bit at least. Let's see. It says practice the art of transformation. And yeah, I feel like a transformation is absolutely an art, okay, something that you tend to, and I feel like this is for those of, and I'm getting the vibe from like you watching this reading from pile 1 people, that you're in a much better place spiritually speaking as compared to your person. So continue focusing on that. Let's see what it says. Acknowledge one situation in your life that's taking your power. Maybe it's this situation, thinking about your person and wondering and feeling stuck in this place. It says transform that situation into something positive and maintain that perspective as a spiritual discipline for the entire day. Like I said, sometimes it helps to look at even the worst experiences of our life in a positive light if we think about the spiritual deeper lessons that we have learned as a result of those experiences. So maybe a shift in perspective in looking at this connection as not like a curse or something bad that happens to you is what this is talking about. But let your intuition be the guide here. It says, when your spirit slips into negativity, simply breathe and then pray your way back to an inner space of positive visualization. Your goal to practice the art of transformation. With positive visualization, there is some disconnection that is needed with the present circumstance, so which is where that pleasure card and the advice of the pleasure card might come in. When you are feeling a little better, just in general, I mean, not about the connection, but just in general, when you're feeling a little bit better, try and visualize your future or where you're headed or whatever you want to create, but not when you are in that headspace of feeling like sad and depressed and funky in general. So that's one of my tips that I wanted to give you in terms of like positive visualization. Don't force it, of course, because that's again becomes like toxic positivity. Trying to be okay when you're genuinely not feeling okay is not the way we do things here, okay? So let's get more for you. What's the advice for pile 1 in dealing with this situation? What's the advice for pile 1? Oh my god, we have cards stuck to one another. Okay, it says adjustments are required. Interesting. So this makes me feel like, maybe thinking about the things or maybe thinking about the aspects in your environment that for some of you really need to change. Maybe it's like you need a change in environment is what I'm getting from this card. There's also attitude adjustments for some of you. So if, like I said, if you're harboring and find yourself way too focused on the negative aspects of the connection, maybe try looking at the whole ordeal in a more spiritual or through a more spiritual lens. But this is really making me feel like some shift in your environment, some adjustments in your environment can really boost up your mood and the way you feel about yourselves. If you have, for example, if you have things around you that remind you of this person, of this connection, of this relationship, maybe like get rid of them, okay? Or something like that, on the lines of that. I hope I'm making sense, but adjusting your environment and your outside physical environment and even like within you. So some work needs to happen through you to help you in your process of healing. Definitely. See what changes this might be speaking of. Let's get one more card. This is from the Archangel Michael Oracle deck, and if you are not a believer in like angels in general or Archangel Michael, or like I said, angels in general, and I hope you're not turned off by them, but you can ignore the Archangel part here and just listen to the message. So let's get a card from you, for you, from Universe. Advice for pile 1. Sense of humor. It says, the prayer, it says, thank you for helping me see the humor in this situation so I can lovingly laugh at human nature. I'm willing to view my experience in a new light in order to attract love and healing energy. This is just very similar to like making an inner adjustment and changing your perspective, like practicing the art of transformation card set there. And it's okay if you're not in this place as yet to like laugh about this connection or laugh about just your understanding of this person and the way they are, the way they were. Maybe also looking at your own mistakes from the past and like laughing about it. But this power to do that, to kind of look at life, look at especially the tough parts of life and take them in a humorous sense and bring in your sense of humor, that usually happens after a certain level of like spiritual maturity. So this is something really worth aiming for, getting to this vibe. But it's okay if you don't feel like very humorous, but this card is really urging you to get to that place, try and understand what their behavior implied about them, but also in the sense of like, it's just different level of consciousness. And just looking at life as a spiritual journey, I feel that bracketing, all experiences of life under that title of it being a spiritual journey really does help. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave your reading here, pile one. I certainly hope that it resonated. Let me know in the comments below how these messages resonated. I really love reading your comments, and it, as a reader, for me, some kind of feedback that really keeps me engaged and going. It's not necessary, but I would really appreciate if you took a minute to let me know how these messages resonated with you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, pile two. So this is for those of you that resonated with this crystal. As I said in the intro portion, I have completely forgotten the name, but this beige and brown crystal, and the card that says Baba on it. And I was looking up the meaning of the card, and it's actually a Hindi word. Hindi is the national language of India, which is where I am from, and it basically means father. So this makes me feel like, daddy issues, frankly, but I might be wrong, and we'll see at the end of the reading or during the reading, depending on what I am called to do. We'll see how that resonates with the rest of the reading. And I'm just going to place this card over here because when I was doing pile one's reading, I realized that if I put it here, my usual spot, there's no space for the other cards in the spread. So I hope you are ready, and I would recommend like grab a snack or a drink, because this is going to be a long, detailed reading. Also, as I mentioned in the intro portion, if you are feeling especially sensitive, if you're feeling like knowing about your connection or your person is gonna trigger some negative feelings, like sadness, depression, and kind of enhance the funk that you might find yourself in right now, then I would recommend take a breather from tarot readings in general, focus on yourself, but also like maybe save this video for later on and watch this reading when you're feeling much more calmer and at peace with the connection and with yourself. And I say this because, like I said, I am a very direct and blunt, for lack of a better word, tarot reader, which means that I do not sugarcoat my messages, and it's possible, given the question, the context that we are asking this question in, does this person really miss me? It's possible that you are experiencing like some amount of sadness as a result of this connection, and there might be feelings of pining and sadness and depression, which are very understandable. There's no judgment here, first of all. But if you're feeling especially sensitive, maybe save this video for later and like watch it when at a time when you're feeling much better. That would be my heartfelt advice for you. But if not, for those of you that feel ready, we are going to be looking into the question, does your person really miss you? And if Spirit allows, this is going to give you an insight into their state of mind and their energy. We're going to start with the tarot deck, and then we are going to move on to the oracle messages. I'm also going to close off this reading with advice for you, some channeled messages, and then advice for you. So stay with the reading for as long as you feel like watching it. Whenever you feel like you have gotten the answers that you are looking for today, the clarity that you're seeking, you can step out of the reading, and I'll see you next time, hopefully, for the next read. But yeah, let's get started. Does your person miss you at this point of time? All my readings are supposed to be timeless. That's the intention that I kind of hold when I draw the cards. So whenever you're watching this, we have the Five of Pentacles. Whenever you are watching this reading is when it is meant for you. And also keep in mind that every tarot reading, no matter who does it, it's a snapshot. Whoops, this card really flew. We have the Nine of Pentacles. As I was saying, like every tarot reading is a snapshot of the energies as they are right now. This does not mean that things cannot change or will not change, okay? So we are just reading for the present moment, so to speak. Okay, this card wants to come out, and I'm also going to take this one. We have this Page of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, doesn't mean that the things cannot change and energies cannot shift. Also keep in mind that this is a general reading, so there are some messages that will not resonate and some that will. Just take what feels intuitively right to you, okay? Right, and we have the Two of Swords. Bottom, oh, one more card, and then the bottom of the deck energy. Does this person miss you? Does this person really miss you? Pile 2. And we have the Justice card, Major Arcana, and bottom of the deck we have the Four of Cups. Okay. Okay, so right off the bat, answering your question, does this person really miss you, or are you on this person's mind? I'm gonna say yes and also no, okay? And let me explain what I mean by that. At this time, I feel like, or when the connection was unfolding and the way that it ended, whatever the details might be for you, but basically the decision to end this connection, it's possible that it came from your person, okay? And one of the main reasons I see why they chose to end the connection and why they chose to walk away from it is because of the confusion as is represented by the Two of Swords, okay? The Two of Swords typically is, in a card like the rendition, is usually like this person, as we see here, holding two swords that are crisscrossed, and they are also blindfolded, okay? This to me is representative of of an energy of someone who is very conflicted in their minds. And for this reading, they're conflicted about the connection. Okay, with the Justice energy, the Nine of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, I feel like your person at the time felt that it was really necessary, quote unquote. So this is their perspective. Keep in mind that this not be the objective truth, of course. And I feel like they felt the need that it was like important to them at the time to end the connection. Now, the reason for that, and they really did shut you out. So I'm getting the Five of Pentacles energy. Maybe they feel shut out too. I'm getting two different scenarios intuitively. Like it could be that you felt that towards your person, that has become like necessary to end the connection, or it's possible that they felt that, you know, dominantly, and they were the one to walk away. And I feel like, you know, I'm getting a sense of like codependency here somehow, like you becoming, both of you, I mean, not just you, both of you sort of being in this toxic connection where, you know, there's a lot of enmeshment of energies, a lot of codependency, like I said. So how codependency can manifest in a connection is, you know, in terms of feeling, both of you or one of you feeling that they really need the other person. Okay, so there's sort of a clinginess that it can manifest as, and just this belief that you are not gonna be okay being independent. And I almost feel like the connection from how it evolved for you guys, that is from the beginning of the connection to the end, some things had to go wrong in order for you to learn the lesson of independence and really seeing that you can be by yourself and that you can really lead your life and take charge of your life by yourself. Okay, now this is something that more often than not, it's not really expressed in as many words. I'm just reading what the cards are showing in terms of like the surface or beneath the surface details. And this seems to be like one of the prominent spiritual lessons that you needed to learn and they needed to learn in this connection. And I feel like your person, when they chose to end this connection, they were feeling quite righteous in that decision, in the sense like they knew in their hearts, and according to them, again, this is their perspective at the time, that this was the right move to make. Okay, they might be seeking to feel sort of more balanced in a way in their own existence, so feeling more connected to the other aspects of their lives and not just like about relationship. Okay, for some of you, I'm getting like this relationship could have ended because of things related to jobs or career and them having to move away, okay, from you, or choosing not to sacrifice basically the other areas of their life for the sake of their relationship. I mean, that's how they saw it at the time, that they would have to sacrifice a lot, I feel like, in order to keep this connection going. And they, at the time, decided that that wasn't a good idea, and that was something that didn't really resonate with them at the time. I'm getting that this belief on their part was not something that is objectively correct, meaning that it's very much possible to take care of other aspects in your life, the other areas of your life, and it's possible to keep a relationship going, okay? But I don't think your person had the confidence within them, or that they were ready or mature enough. The page energy, think of like, you know, youngish kind of person, or somebody that is not really mature with their thoughts and the way they analyze things. Okay, with the Four of Cups coming up as the bottom of the deck energy, I feel like your person might have reached a point where they just didn't want to invest into relationships, okay, or carry forward this relationship with you because they felt like it wouldn't be right somehow for them, and also for this connection, maybe even for you. They saw it in ways that they just needed to go and take care of other things in their lives, okay? It's also possible that for some of you, you must have like met this person at a time in their life where they were feeling really especially sad and depressed and really not connected to everything else in their life. So like a down time in terms of their spirit. This was like a time where they felt sort of shut out or left out, or the Five of Pentacles also has the undertone, the energetic undertone is also of someone that is just feeling unlucky, and kind of like a victim state of mind. So it's possible that they met you at a time when they were feeling those feelings, and I feel like you were the more powerful person in a way, in the sense that you had a lot going on in your life and you were on top of things, and that was kind of an inspiring energy for your person. They really wanted to, I think that they still do have admiration for you, okay? They don't see anything wrong with you as a person per se, but just the situation, just the way that you guys connected, and the other details of their life not being in line, I think, and they themselves knowing that they need to go like take care of these things, and they need to distance themselves for the time being, and not really knowing that they're not capable at this time to build this connection into like what you guys deserve, you guys as in the ones watching this reading. So they knew that at the time they were not even ready, and that they could not give to this connection as much attention, love, energy, investment in terms of time and their resources that the connection deserved, okay? And I still feel like they are very confused as to like what to do in terms of the near future in this connection, okay? I'm getting like with the Justice energy, it's possible that they were like dealing with another connection in their life. Maybe this person was in a long-term commitment, or maybe they were married and going through divorces, separation, legal issues, what have you, with someone else, like a different partner from their past, which took up a lot of their mental energy. And this person was not really in the right state of mind or state of being, or the right place in their life to, as I said, process these emotions that they had for you, the admiration that they have for you, to process that in the right way, in the most effective way that would allow for this person to invest more into the connection, okay? What else? At this time, I feel like your person in general, okay, is closed off when it comes to their emotional side, and also when it comes to relationship. So they might be taking some time off from relationships and love relationships in general, and trying to, I feel like, as I said, come to a place of balance, but also like grow up a little bit, okay? And this could be like their subconscious desire, or something that is almost a need, I feel like, for your person to really grow up when it comes to their like thought processes and the way they process emotional information from within themselves, as well as like from other people. Okay, so I'm just going to clarify these energies here. I want to clarify the Nine of Pentacles. So what's the Nine of Pentacles energy? Kind of feel like this is your energy coming through, or at least their perception of you. I feel like your person didn't feel good enough for you. They saw your life and they saw everything that you did and did so well, and they saw you as someone like really in charge of the the different areas of your life along with this relationship. And I feel like they really wanted to get there, but given who they are and the stage of life that they are at, they were unable to do so. We have the Four of Wands. Yeah, so this person is really wanting to emulate that, to create what you have, or the aspects of your life and your personality. I feel like that they really admired, and feel more ready. This is like a desire to win, a desire to celebrate. Also, for some of you, I'm getting that, being in this connection with you, I feel like your person did find some amount of joy, and it was kind of like, think of it as the relationship serving as a means of escaping these feelings, because the Five of Pentacles really is when we are feeling down and depressed and shut out from our own lives, or disconnected from ourselves. But there is hope there with the Five of Pentacles, and I feel like that hope to recover, to get to a better place, was always there. And at the time, like when they were connecting with you, I felt like this relationship, this connection was like a respite. You were that respite from their lives and the way that they were feeling about it. But overall, I don't think your person was really ready to really invest themselves into this connection. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so this person seems like they were on a journey of figuring out their entire life, I feel like, okay? Like really taking the time to assess what they want to do and where they want to get in life. And the Knight of Pentacles, typically this is a very slow moving energy, but with that slowness also comes a sort of a feeling of assuredness. Like the Knight really wants to know. The Knight is a thinker, so a thinking, a person who thinks, a person who plans. Think about like groundedness. The Pentacles is the energy of Earth, so they want to remain grounded. They are like, practical more than emotional. And they just have, in general, not only sense of direction somewhat, but even the steps that they want to take to arrive at whatever destination that they're envisioning. This person wants to be really clear and really sure of what they're doing. Okay, so like I said, there was hope with this Five of Pentacles vibe that they seem to be dwelling in at the time, but this connection could be one of the reasons why they felt hopeful. Okay, and I feel like this aspect is still on their minds. Okay, and being grateful almost, I feel like, for having met you at a point of time in life when they really needed this connection. But were they really ready themselves to give it what it needed to grow? I don't think so. Okay, let's clarify this Ace of Pentacles energy. This is the card that makes me feel like this was, your person desiring a new beginning, rising up to the challenge almost of a new beginning, not in the connection, but with their lives. But let's clarify it a bit more. What's this Ace of Pentacles energy here? What is this Ace of Pentacles energy in this spread? Okay. We have the Two of Wands. Yeah, so they were, or they are at this point of time, like really not focused, like I said, on their emotional side, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised if this person, you know, doesn't even think of you for days. And I'm sorry if that is something that, you know, is difficult to hear. I completely empathize with it, and I'm sorry, but I'm just reading the cards and delivering the message as is. But I feel like their focus is somewhere else, okay? Planning ahead. Two of Pentacles is all about planning and having a vision, having your goals, and really figuring out the process of getting there, you know? So even though I feel like they might think about you from time to time, that's the energy that I'm getting from the Four of Cups. They might, you know, look back on your connection, but they're not really in that place where they can allow for an effective emotional sort of deep dive, or, you know, learning from their own emotional analysis and coming to like a conclusion as to what they want to do about this connection at this point. Okay, so I do sense feelings of sadness towards this connection, and feeling like depressed for having lost you, or for having walked away from this connection. That's there for sure, but the confusion is the King of Swords. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lack of clarity, I feel like, with your person, as I said, about this connection and what to do in the near future, what steps to take, okay? The King of Swords is someone who is quite clear with his or her thoughts. Again, this is an archetypal energy, can apply to any gender, so it doesn't really matter if you're like a male or a female, but this is someone who is quite clear of their thoughts. They are, you know, very sure about the decisions that they make. They rely on their thinking mind, their analytical mind, to guide them and to, you know, pave the way, so to speak, in life. And quite wise, like, because the kind of like thought processes that the King of Pentacles usually engages in, that comes from the learning in the past. So think about like, you know, the Page of Cups making the journey to the King of Cups. And I feel like your person is headed there, in which like in the future they are, it's probable that they will arrive at some kind of like a clear decision, or end of this confusion, end of the confusing thoughts that they feel. Another drawback or another shadow side of the Two of Swords is that, you know, there's a great dependency with your person in this spread, especially great dependency on logical, analytical thinking. And when it comes to relationships, and frankly, in my opinion, when it comes to life and even the other areas of your life, it does much better for ourselves if we are connected both to our heart space, so the heart chakra, and our logical mind. So it has to be a balance of sorts between those energies. But I feel like your person is going to arrive at a decision, but I'm not too sure if even that would be the most wisest thing. I mean, it's going to feel like very wise to them, whatever they decide to do, or however they choose to feel about this connection. But I'm not sure if that's going to be like the objective reality of this connection. Okay, there just seems like a lot of blockage in the heart space. We don't have In fact, we just have one Cups card, and that is also the kind of card that represents like blocked emotions or not being open to entertaining any kind of like emotional insight. But we don't have any Cups energy in the spread. So really an emotionally blocked person, somebody with the blocked heart space, that's how it could connect to the card. I feel like, you know, these two hearts interloping. Oh my God. Picking up the card. I hope I'm able to do that. Yeah, there we go. So these two hearts interloping, if you can see, like this is, you know, turned upside down, and this I feel like is representative of you, your energy, and your person's energy, where it's just like blocked heart chakra is what I'm getting. So not daddy issues, as I said in the beginning. I don't know why I got that. Maybe because of the word Baba. But really blocked heart chakra, blocked heart space with your person. And like I said, whatever they do decide to feel about this connection, I don't think that that's going to be even close to the objective reality. I feel like your person really has to work on themselves in connecting with their own heart, allowing those feelings some presence within themselves and paying attention to them. And your person just isn't. Like, I feel like any emotional insight that comes up or any feeling that comes up, it's like this Page of Swords like goes ahead and you know, it's like a swoosh, you know, waving their swords at that insight. I don't know, that was a really bad way of expressing it, but you know what I mean. Like the Page of Swords is just about to like swing his sword and it's like, go away from my, get away from me, you know, whatever these emotions and feelings are. So that seems to be their defense mechanism. Oh, and another thing that I'm getting, we have the Eight of Swords here, by the way. I'm going to put this down and come to it in a few seconds. But another thing that I'm getting, that this could be to do with your person's upbringing, because we have a child here and we have a somewhat older gentleman. So in their formative years, I feel like, you know, the connection with their family or their parents, like primary caregivers, like maybe this is what they learned, that, you know, being too emotional is not that great, and like that always gets you into trouble, or maybe like it's a sign of weakness or what have you. So that could be, you know, how your reading is connected to the card that you guys chose, the Baba card, with the pile selection. Parental influence in making them what they are and the way that they think, that could be significant for some of you if you know these details about their life. And of course that would depend on where you were with this connection and how far in the journey you were, or how long you were connected to them, but that seems to be significant. Okay, with the Justice card, again, like the first thing that I got is this wanting to be good, wanting to do the right thing, wanting to really do right by you and right by themselves. And I feel like your person does tell themselves that, you know, they made the right choice in like ending the connection or walking away from it, and that it would do you good and that it would do them good. I feel like they really have sort of convinced themselves, but this is the reality. This is the energy underlying the Justice energy when I read that card in that particular context. And it's the Eight of Swords. Now the Eight of Swords is really being binded by our own limitations, by our own dysfunctional way of thinking, our limiting beliefs about, let's say, love or connections, or about the world in general. Like I said, like your person feeling like it's very weak to go with the flow of your emotions, or you know, not depend on logic so heavily, and not like really have all the steps planned out in your life. So they engage with the other elements, which is like, you know, earth and fire and what's the other element? Water, earth, fire. Oh my God, What is wrong with me? Pentacles is earth. Cups is water. Swords is, yeah, so they're not engaging. Okay, right, 3. I was right when the first time around. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what happened there, but they engage with like energies of fire with the wands energy present here. Then there's a lot of air with the swords energy, and there's some pentacles, you know, like practical aspects of their lives. We also have the Ace of Pentacles, so grounding their plans into actionable steps maybe, but there's very little water, as I said previously in your spread. So it could be just this, what do you call it? What's the word for it? I'm not getting, but it's a dysfunctional thought pattern. It's a dysfunctional way of being that is represented by this 8 of Swords, okay? And swords especially, they also specifically talk about thought patterns and beliefs that hold us back. So I feel like with this card coming up as like the clarifying energy for the Justice energy, in which I felt like your person was really trying to be smart and balanced and wanting to do the right thing in this connection. But I feel like objectively speaking, or what would be right by, like, you know, somebody else's standard, somebody who's like engaging with all the 4 elements of the world or of our being, this could be wrong. Like, again, this is based on the limited viewpoint that they have of this world and their inability to get out of that space. Okay, so answering your question, are you on your person's mind? I feel like, you know, this person does think about you with the 4 of Cups energy. I am sensing sadness. I am sensing like reminiscing about the connection, but I feel like that might be very brief, and they quickly get out of it by, you know, the process of logically thinking about it, and telling themselves like all these reasons that they did the right thing. But they're grateful, I think, for the connection, for having this experience with you, alongside you. And I feel like this person learned a lot from you as well, and that admiration will always be there. Okay, let's get into the oracle messages to get some more insight. Now for this one, I want to know more about what's going on with your person, pile 2. So what is going on with pile 2's person? Here we get some more insight into their state of being, either during the connection or right now. So what's going on with your person, pile 2? We have worth waiting for. Yeah, so I feel like your person was really assessing at the time if this connection is really something that they want to invest in. Okay, the words on the card, it says divine timing is at work in your love life. So take how that resonates, but I don't think that, you know, the message here is that this person thinks that you're worth waiting for. Unfortunately, again, I'm sorry, but I'm just speaking from my intuition, and I know that some of the messages might be very difficult to hear, and I'm really sorry for that. But I think that this was a thing that they were wondering about, like, is this connection worth waiting for? And I feel like for some of you, you're being called to assess that now. Okay, you're being called to really think about whether you want to wait for this person to evolve, to change. Maybe some of you, you know, have that hope, and it might be sort of like a false hope at this point almost, where you're wanting this person to change and evolve into something that you need them to be in your life. But Spirit is really asking you to reassess that question. Should you really, like, wait for this, or should you move on? And I feel like there are two angels that are featured in the card. I'll bring it closer to the camera. I hope you can see that. So I feel like, you know, you both are being divinely guided in this connection, believe it or not, okay? But in the decision that they took and the path that you're on right now, the place that you're on right now, I feel like it is divinely guided. And sometimes, you know, when I say divinely guided, I mean to imply that it would be the best thing for your soul's journey. And sometimes those things can be painful, can be uncomfortable, okay? So we have engagement ring, engagement, partnership, commitment, completion, eternity, union. So like I said, I was getting the sense that for some of you, this person was involved in other relationship, someone else being in the picture at the time. Maybe they were coming out of a bad relationship of the past, and they were dealing with like the legal consequences for some of you. If it was about a separation or a divorce or something like that. Okay, so that the energy of another committed relationship for pile 2 is definitely coming through in this connection. Maybe that's the reason why they are closed off to relationships and to love at this point, because it's, you know, it's reminding them so much of a connection from the past, maybe. But of course, this is their perspective, keep in mind. I'm not saying that you are the same or similar person, their perspective. We have life purpose. So I really feel like your person, like I said, is on a journey of sorts, of sorts. If that sounded like swords, I apologize. But they are on a journey of some kind in discovering, like, you know, their place in life and being good with all the other aspects of their life that are not to do with like love and relationships. So really trying to find their way in the world. I got that from the Knight of Pentacles, and also with the Two of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. This person is really looking to find their place in the world, feel more grounded, feel more balanced, and really trying to explore what that is, okay? Which I feel like interfered with this connection. We have childhood with innocence. So yeah, childhood, this card always makes me think of like trauma that is coming from their past. And like I said, this tendency with your person where they devalue emotions to the point that, you know, they are incapable of really learning from how they're feeling or what their feelings are trying to tell them about themselves, maybe, or even this connection. And this, like, in general stance that they have, you know, like I said, very little cups energy here, and kind of feeling, you know, somewhat, what do you call it? Powerless, or like somebody with low power. How would you say? Weak. Oh, that's the word. So seeing like emotions or engaging with emotions as a sort of weakness, this typically comes from experiences in the childhood and our environment when we were growing up. It's a learned kind of you know, tendency or a learned belief. Well, most of things are learned, but this especially so. The role models in their life, or just in general, you know, how they were treated growing up, that's coming up as a factor in this connection. Okay, let's see what else. So your person needs to really go back if they want to become more emotionally open, not only to this connection, but to other connections. And as I said, like, engaging with both your mind and your heart is very important in life. I feel like no matter what area of life we are talking about, they have to do a lot of like healing of their childhood trauma, so to speak. before they can be ready to be fully present in any connection. Okay. Now we have the dog. It says loyalty, sincerity, unconditional love. When I look at the dog, I kind of look at dogs as friends, man's best friend. And I think about like all the things that dogs teach us, and one of the things that they teach us is a big lesson in unconditional love. Okay. And I feel like your person's soul's desire, so something that they might not be like consciously aware of, okay, is to find that kind of healing, unconditional love in their life. For some of you, they might even receive this kind of love, or that might be demonstrated or showed to them through a dog's love, like a literal, getting a new dog, getting a new puppy is what I'm getting for some of you. And I also feel like, for your person, it will be easier to explore their emotional side with an animal, okay, as opposed to like relationships. Your person could already be very good with animals. Maybe they have a dog, or even like a pet animal, which the dog represents, whom they do love unconditionally. But I feel like the presence of an animal, I'm really getting that, is going to help evolve their own emotional maturity. Okay. I don't know why that message particularly might not be for everyone. Might be for like specific people who have this knowledge that your person is a dog owner, a pet owner, or they are looking to own pets. But yeah, I don't know why I got that intuitive hit. But let's see some channeled messages from your person. What would they say to you if they could? Pile 2. What would your person say to you if they could? What would your person say to you if they could? We both know I'm not the one for you. Yeah, so I got that feeling where they didn't feel like they were enough for you, that they were good enough for you, and like they were ready to give this connection their all, and couldn't match your energy, couldn't match who you are. While they admired it, they couldn't do the same. I know that I crossed the line with you, so this is for those of you that have been hurt by their behavior in this connection, whatever they did, because when somebody is like not emotionally available, or so blocked in their heart space, they can be quite cruel at times. This Page of Swords energy, always swinging their sword, his or her sword, that can be quite prickly in a sense, and quite unpleasant to deal with. So think of these oracle messages from the Hidden Oracle, which is like the channeled messages, as something that their higher self would say to you. So I feel like in the hearts of their hearts, they know, they have an awareness that they have hurt you. I'm not available, thank you very much, but we already knew that. You're not looking for relationships, we know that. You're incapable of that right now, is what I would say to your person. And it's sad, really. The whole situation is sad. I'm feeling in general your sadness, I feel like. So I do empathize with you. I will wait for a sign from you. So this is for those of you that are wondering if it would be a good idea to reopen the doors of communication, or wondering if your person is going to reach out. I feel like with this, especially this energy, that is so blocked and that is so like anti-emotions almost. I feel like your person is going to wait for you. It says, I wish things could be different. So that higher self does acknowledge that, you know, to your person it feels like a missed opportunity. The timing just wasn't right for us. Yeah, tell me about it. You have a lot of growing up to do, Miss or Mr. whoever you are. You have a lot of growing up to do, and yeah, maybe in the future, or if you would have met them at a point of time when they would have resolved their issues, gained some maturity and a perspective in life, maybe things could have worked then, but not at this time, I feel like. Okay, so if you are satisfied with these messages and you got what you needed from the read, you can choose to exit the reading right now, and that's completely fine. But I'm going to close off the reading with some advice for you. So like I said, I'm sensing a lot of like disappointment, sadness, depression, because as I said, like having to deal with someone that's so emotionally closed off can be challenging. So if you want to stay for the portion that's coming up, which is advice cards for you, feel free to do so, and if not, I'll just see you in the next reading. But for those of you that did choose to stick around, thank you so much for, you know, having this faith in me, and waiting for messages for you. So what's the advice for you? What should you be doing? Okay, we have clearing. Okay, this is in two sense, clearing your space as well as clearing the cluttered mind, and clearing your own energy. Okay, so think about every negative conclusion that you're drawing, which is self-directed, okay, or something that is making you have lesser faith in love and relationships in general. Maybe those are just two examples, but I'm just saying, like, anything that is really turning you off from, let's say, love and relationships, or making you feel bad about yourself. This is the time to let go of those thoughts and heal those thoughts and really get a new perspective, okay, about things. I hope that this reading really helped in putting things in perspective for you somewhat, and understanding the situation in a much deeper way. But do what it takes to clear your energy, and also clearing your space. If you have a lot of like memorabilia and artifacts from the relationship that make you think of your person or depress you even more, it's time to shuffle that, and it's time to get rid of all of that. Okay, oftentimes, like, our environment, when it's cluttered, that's also something that keeps us stuck in a loop of sorts, in which, you know, it causes more clutter in the mind. So think about how you can clear your space, outer space, and as well as clear your inner space. There's a message at the bottom of the card, or the back side of the card, and it says, clear the clutter. When in doubt, throw it out. I love the message, it's so succinct. So I'm thinking of like Marie Kondo. What's her system? It's the Kondo system, right? Like, where she's like, if this doesn't bring you any joy anymore, take it out and throw it away. Thank it for its existence, but basically leave it out. And that's the key word there. If it doesn't bring you joy, focus on your well-being, focus on your joy. If there are things within you and outside of you that do not give you joy anymore, clearing the space will help your healing process for sure, for my pile 2 people. Let's get one more. Oh, whoops. There will be a few more cards, but let's get the next one. This one, okay. So what is the advice for pile 2? What's the advice for pile 2? What's the advice for pile 2? Bring humor into your life. So it's interesting, this similar energy kind of came up with pile 1's reading, and you know, this is encouragement to well, laugh more, you know. So like I'm thinking, you know, watching a comedy show or doing something fun, either by yourself or with your friends, whatever makes you feel happy and gets you out of this, like I said, the funk that you currently might find yourself in. But this is also somewhat like looking at life's tragedies in a humorous sort of way, infusing it with humor. And as I was saying in the pile 1 reading, that is only possible after a certain level of spiritual involvement, and it is completely okay if you don't feel humorous about the situation as yet, but it's an energy that is worth aspiring for, okay, worth aiming for. It's totally worth it to sort of hope at least to get there. And it also comes when we look at all the like bad experiences or the experiences that have brought us to sadness and depression, or made us feel like bad in or negative in any way. When we look at that as a lesson, a spiritual lesson that was actually aiding our own spiritual development, it's a much better perspective, and it becomes like easier to deal with. But not just about easy, but like that would be the right perspective of looking at life's challenges. So let's read what the back of the card says. It says, think about whether you truly have a sense of humor. Healing is enhanced with humor, and laughter can lighten almost anything, certainly most day-to-day irritations. Your goal to bring humor to everything that causes you stress, and this is one of the most empowered responses you can have. So this card really says it all, like the ability to look at life's tragedies and see them in such a different perspective that it actually makes you laugh. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we all could get to that place? And I know that right when you're in the middle of things, and depending on, you know, how close to time in terms of like you watching this reading, this connection ended or what have you, you might still not be there, but it's something that you should be aspiring for, is what comes up. Let's look at one more oracle message. This is the Moonology manifestation deck. Oops. Okay, what is the advice for pile 2 at this time? What is the advice for pile 2 people? Oops. Relax. We have new moon in Cancer. Relax. Such a succinct and such a nice message there. And relaxation, feeling more relaxed, and deliberately bringing ourselves to a more relaxed vibe is sometimes something that we have to really work towards. But this is especially for those of you that are worrying about not only this connection, but just in general, like worrying about, you know, your life, your goals, maybe even your love life. And certainly Spirit wants you to get over this connection. These two cards are really making me feel that. In my bones I can feel that. Spirit is like, relax, let go, and everything will be fine. Know that you will be taken care of. Let's draw one more card. This is from the Archangel Michael Oracle deck. Now, if angels is something that you don't believe in and you get turned off by that concept, that's completely fine. Just ignore the fact that there is a picture of an angel and just, you know, focus on the message here. So what do you need to do, Pile 2? What's the advice for Pile 2? Let's see. We have take your time making this decision. Oh yeah, this reminds me of like the card from the romance angel, whether you want to wait for this connection or what do you want to do. So I sense that some of you are still like confused as to like what actions you would take or which direction to head in. Take it in whatever context intuitively feels right to you. And the card says, please, Archangel Michael, please help me stay strong, and replace Archangel Michael, like I said, if you get turned off by that, replace it with whatever or whoever you pray to. Please help me stay strong and relaxed as I approach this situation. Remind me to detach and step back, allowing the situation to naturally unfold. Thank you for protecting me. This is something that we all can, you know, take this advice no matter what point of time we are, you know, in our lives or like whatever area of your life you want to apply that to. The ability to not get too attached to an outcome or, you know, giving the outside world so much power that we base our own happiness on it. The ability to do that, it's just like so spiritually beautiful, and there's so much power when we just like detach and we know that our state of being and our lives is not dependent on this one thing, be it a relationship or anything else that you're wanting to manifest. And keeping your vibe right there and allowing for things to naturally unfold, that's, like I said, that's a beautiful spiritual ability, that strength right there. Okay, just being true to yourself, trusting life, and you know, you name your desire, of course, you connect with your heart space and really like be honest with yourself about what you desire, but then not controlling the situation and not being disturbed by the ups and downs in life. It's the way I want to lead my life. It's how I want to approach everything in my life. So anyways, I hope that this reading was helpful. I hope that you can get to this point. I hope that if you do choose to like apply the advice that came up for you, I hope that it speeds up or enhances your own healing process. And once again, like, thank you so much for being here. Leave this video a like if this reading resonated, and please mention in the comments below how this connected to your story. I love hearing from you and getting that feedback, and I don't know, it's just the best, you guys, if you can take a few seconds to type something in the comments or like acknowledge at least the resonance of this reading. Yeah, and I hope that you will subscribe and you will come back for more future readings to come. Also, one thing that I noticed with your pile, that my tea light went out. Now, I don't want you to take that as a sign per se. It's just been burning for like a very long time, and that's how I intuitively feel. Like, it's not it. If you're making it to be something like really bad, please don't. I filmed the first piles reading, and then I had to like take a break, a long enough break so that just the tea light burned out. Okay, so anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, pile 3. So this is for those of you that resonated with the orange calcite crystal disc and this card. It says whatever's right. and I was looking at the card meaning in the booklet that comes with the Morgan Tarot. And basically what this means is doing or following your heart. And basically it says that, you know, that our heart and our feelings are the best guide out there, and I completely understand and I completely believe in that. Like, this is what I say with my tarot readings as well, that, you know, the tarot readings, if you're, you know, watching this reading or any other reading on any kind of social media, take that with, I want to say, I mean, it's a good place to go for guidance, of course, but at the end of the day, if your intuition, if your heart is guiding you to do something else that wasn't mentioned in the reading at all, then I would say choose that over the reading. And it's always the best place to go for guidance, really. You know, if you can get to a calm place and really listen to what your heart is saying, because that's when we connect with our own true desires, we connect with our own true intuition and guidance. So that's the overall vibe of this card. It says whatever's right, as in do whatever's right. Okay, and the right is defined by your own intuitive guidance. So we are going to see at the end of the reading, or whenever like I'm intuitively called to do that, we're going to see how the card meaning connects with the reading itself. Most of the times it does, but sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see what comes up. But I'm going to put the card here because for pile 1, when I was reading, if I put it here, which is like my usual spot, I don't have space to lay out all the cards. Just a teeny tiny kind of housekeeping thing. Also keep in mind that this is a general reading, so not all the messages will resonate. Only take the ones that do resonate and leave the rest for someone else watching this reading. Yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to pull some tarot cards first, then go into Oracle to get further insight into, you know, what your person is feeling or thinking. Oh, and a sort of trigger warning, like I said in the intro portion, which you probably, which you maybe skipped, which is fine. But if you are at this time when you're watching this reading, you are feeling especially sensitive and not feeling really great about the connection, as in like you have feelings of sadness, depression, because this question that we are asking, you know, do they really miss me? That has undertones of pining for the other person or feeling sad about the situation. So if those feelings are heightened and you feel like watching a reading that looks into the connection that's going to trigger you in a way that you leave feeling worse than you did before, then I would say save the reading for later and watch at a time when you're much calmer, because, you know, I'm just going to read the cards and tell you as it is. And more often than not, this is not a very like straightforward yes or no answer. I mean, that's how I have been getting these messages for the pile 1 and pile 2 reading. So it's not really a straight up, yeah, they miss you, or no, they don't. It's a mixed bag of things, and it's not black and white. It's gray, as most of our lives and our emotions are. So, and I'm not very good at sugarcoating messages. I don't want to be like that. Don't want to say like just things that you want to hear, right? Otherwise, like, it's pointless, like me doing the reading and you watching the reading. Both those activities are absolutely pointless. So I'm going to say the things as I see in the cards, and if you're feeling especially triggered at this time, maybe save it for later, okay? So use your discretion. And the point is that we keep you feeling okay, keep you feeling connected to yourself and joyful also, if possible. But if joy is not something that is, you know, a possibility at this time, then, you know, just feeling okay, focus on, more of a focus on that is essential, is what I think. Okay, this card flipped over, so we are going to take it. This is the Queen of Cups. So use your discretion, pile 3. But for those of you that are feeling okay and want to watch the reading, here it is. So what sorry, we are looking into the question, does your person miss you at this time? Also, I would like to point out that, tarot readings in general, my tarot readings and any tarot readings, they capture the energies in the moment. It does not mean that these energies cannot switch, cannot change, cannot transform. So in the future, things might be different, but I'm just reading for this moment that you're watching this reading, okay? We have Judgment. Does your person miss you? Pile 3. Okay. And we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Does your person miss you? Pile 3. Does your person miss you at this time? We have the Page of Wands. Does your person miss you? Pile 3. Oops, we have the Hermit. So with the Hermit and the Judgment card, I'm getting a sense that, first of all, I feel like this connection might be something that is in no contact or possibly like low contact. And by that, what I mean is like maybe your person is more withdrawn within themselves, okay, at this time, and not being very verbal with their feelings. With the Knight of Wands coming up in reverse, I do want to clarify the energy of this Page of Wands because I don't really quite understand it at this time. So clarifying cards will help with that. But with the Knight of Wands in reverse, I feel like your person at this time is not open to either like reconnecting with you or connecting with you even more, okay? And of course that depends on what stage your relationship is in, whether it's completely like no contact or like I said, they are quite withdrawn within themselves. With the Judgment is all about healing. It's about renewal, okay? So something in the past, or maybe the way that your person was in the past, that is undergoing a change. Okay, with the Knight of Wands being in reverse, I kind of feel like this person is recognizing the errors of their ways in which, it may be in the past they like rushed into this connection, maybe both of you did, and there were some realizations that, came to the surface about this connection that your person sees as, being related to not being, slow and steady with the connection, okay? And rather than taking the time to like assess it, or both of you taking your time to assess it, you guys kind of quickly connected, like a flash in the pan, or just a connection that progressed like really fast. I want to look at the bottom of the deck energy, and that's the Eight of Wands. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I want to clarify the Page of Wands. For the Queen of Cups, I feel like your energy is coming through, or at least what I mean by that is like your person's perspective of you in this connection. That is what is coming through here with the Queen of Cups. And I feel like in the connection, you were very emotional and emotionally open to this connection. And almost I'm getting the energy of someone who's like wanting a love relationship or wanting a romantic connection with someone. By the way, my intention is to read for romantic connections. This could easily apply to like other situations. You just will have to like tweak the message a little bit depending on, if you're watching this for a friend or, some other type of connection. But my intention is to read for romantic connections. And I kind of feel like you were at a point of time in your life, in a place where you were like really truly ready for
a connection, okay? Not only ready, but I feel like you were wanting it, okay? You had a desire for it to explore your feelings and just explore this connection for what it was, or like the potential that it was. And I feel like your person does recognize that desire, that want in you, okay? I just feel like your person with the reverse Knight of Wands, I don't think that they felt the same way, in the sense, like in terms of readiness is what I'm trying to say, that they didn't feel at the time that they were like completely ready to give to this connection, okay? But here's the thing, I'm kind of now understanding the Page of Wands a little bit. I kind of feel like, you know, in either withdrawing from this connection, which is, like I said, maybe they have walked away completely, or they have somewhat, you know, withdrawn their energy from this connection. I feel like your person really understands this, understands that there is a need for them to mature somewhat in the context of this relationships, and just in the context of like, or the area of love and relationships, okay? There's a very like immature kind of energy that is coming through with the Page of Wands, and pages, you know, are typically like younger energy, and by that I mean like not necessarily like chronological age, but just a level of maturity. Like with the Page of Wands, that's really not fully developed. So for example, Page of Wands archetype, if a person is channeling the Page of Wands, they will jump at whatever interests them, but there's not enough grounding in terms of like concrete plans, or having a full idea of how they are going to progress in this connection. So there's a lot that is left in terms of discovering themselves and really understanding their own selves, which is lacking with the Page of Wands. And knowing, you know, if I truly want to create this and manifest this in my life, what do I need to be in this connection? What do I need to give? So that understanding is like severely lacking with the Page of Wands. And this is something that should resonate with you. Like maybe your person was if not inconsistent, maybe they were not completely there, maybe not able to give this connection as much time, energy, resources as it deserved and as you wanted. With the Queen of Cups energy kind of hinting at your energy in this connection, I feel like you both were very different in terms of your emotional maturity, at least, where you being the more mature one and they being kind of in that phase where they were still discovering things about themselves, okay? And I feel like this is what prompted the action, which is, you know, the withdrawal, as I said, the withdrawal of energy on your person's side, okay? But I really truly feel that your person is going through a transformation, and the kind of like renewal, the infusion of renewal that the Judgment card represents, it's like completely being reborn. As you can see in the cards here, we have like a little child that's rising. So it's really, you know, shedding of the old totally and becoming a whole new person. Like this could also mean that, you know, this person has some amount of like childhood trauma or wounds that come from their environment when they were growing up, and definitely the kind of wounds that affect our ability to fully connect in connections, like romantic connections, and I feel like they recognize that to a certain extent, if not consciously, like subconsciously. So all those behaviors, the problematic behaviors that you witnessed, or, you know, you were at the recipient end of, unfortunately, in this connection, they might be coming from
their childhood wounds. I'm getting that for some of you, if not all of you. But definitely there's a sense here of renewal. So infusion of a new energy in this connection. Let's draw some more cards and see. Bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is about rapid movement and also about communication, okay? And we have all these like branches, like 8 branches, but they have these like teeny tiny leaves that are just sprouting and just about like growing from the Eight of Wands. So I feel like there is some transformation, some change that your person is experiencing through the journey within, which is the Hermit energy. The Hermit is kind of like that phase of life where figuring out your own self, or like an inward journey. More often than not, it is a solo process, okay? Something that needs to happen in isolation, whether it is self-imposed or whether, life just brings about isolation. Like, for example, the COVID-19 fiasco that all of us got affected by, that really put us in isolation and made us rethink our lives in much more profound way that we didn't really do up until that point when we were forced into isolation. But that really made us look at ourselves, our lives, our priorities, hearing about all these deaths that were happening all around all of us, which, by the way, I hope that you are not directly affected by that, and I'm very sorry if you were, but that kind of isolation really puts things into perspective. So these new kind of as I said, the leaves sprouting on these 8 branches or the 8 wands could represent newer realizations or just their inner being prompting a change, I feel like. So your person is really evolving at this time, and evolving in the context of love and relationship, so specifically in that area. Let's draw some clarifying cards. The first card I want to clarify is the Page of Wands. So can you tell us more about the Page of Wands energy here, Spirit? What's this Page of Wands energy here? What's the Page of Wands energy here? Whoops. Okay, so we have the Ten of Wands. So one of the other things with the Ten of Wands I'm getting, or literally this card represents, is a state of completely feeling overwhelmed, not knowing which direction to go in. I don't know if you've seen other renditions of the Ten of Wands, or is this the Ten of Swords? Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. This is the Ten of Swords. And Ten of Swords to me represents not seeing a way out of, not being able to think clearly out of a situation, which in this case is this romantic connection, and literally feeling, again, it's a subjective feeling, literally feeling like things need to end. So with this Ten of Wands energy, I'm getting, again, a reiteration of the situation that we have here, which most probably, your person is someone who has exited this connection and they decided to leave it behind. But the Ten of Swords, so swords represent, the air energy, which has got to do with our thoughts and the way we assess things, the way we think about things. So this is all, when an end, and it almost feels like this end needed to happen somehow. That's what I'm intuitively getting. For this person to undergo the transformation that they are going through right now, and for a new renewal to happen in this connection, because they know that this time when they have to come to you, they have to come to you in a way that is very aligned to the kind of relationship that you deserve and that you truly desire. None of this iffy energy and none of the back and forth or, being non-committal in the connection. So none of that is going to work. And I feel like your person knows that and recognizes that. But at the time, like when they decided to end this connection, I feel like, of course, there's emotional immaturity. So that's like the underlying flavor, if you will, to this like decision-making process. But at the time, they just couldn't get their head straight. I feel like they just couldn't see a way to either like work on the relationship or work on themselves while still being connected to you and still being connected to this relationship. It's possible that they also couldn't find the words, when they withdrew their energy from this connection. I feel like they couldn't find the words at the time to really explain it to you in as much details or like really justify, their choices. But by the way, I didn't mention this before, but in answering your question, does your person really miss you? I'm going to say for this one, it's absolutely yes. Absolutely. I feel like you are very much on their minds. And in fact, like the inward journey that your person is on, your connection and your relationship is the reason or is the thing that instigated this journey, this inward journey, this looking into themselves. So this person is absolutely thinking about you all the time. In fact, I feel like, and learning a lot from how this relationship panned out. Okay, so do they miss you? Absolutely yes. In fact, with the Eight of Swords, as I said, it is also a card about communication. So I feel like your person has the desire to communicate with you, and maybe it will not be the type of communication wherein they are like, hey, I'm ready to do this again with you or give this relationship a second shot. But I feel like whatever they are learning out of their journey and the renewal, they want to talk about it in a way like, hash it out with you or, break it down with you and share their own like learnings and their own like insights that they have gained out of this connection. Like, hey, at the time I did this, but I realized that, it was something about me or like a blockage or something. And maybe even for some of you, they want to apologize for certain things that they did. So I feel like certainly this connection and the details of this are very much on your person's mind. There's no doubt in my mind right now. Okay. Let's clarify all the energies, the rest of the energies here. What's the Queen of Cups? Or can you tell us more about the Queen of Cups energy here? Can you clarify, Spirit? Oh, whoops. Can you clarify this Queen of Cups energy here? So I do take jumper cards, but not when I'm like dropping a whole bunch of them. That's just me being clumsy with my shuffling, and I know that I am. So we have strength. Wow. Okay. So like I said, this is their perception of, the connection with you and their perception of you. And I think what they really admired is, like I said, you come across as like a very emotionally intelligent and advanced in terms of like emotional intelligence compared to your person in this connection. And I think they really admired your ability to to be strong, to really, the strength could mean different things depending on your story in this connection. It could mean like you were very clear with your boundaries, you were very clear with your what you need from this person in this connection, and you did this even though like there was a risk that you might lose them and the connection might go nowhere. So I feel like, and there's strength in that. By the way, I'm very sorry about the light on my table. There's a big window right in front of me and it's just like natural lighting. I have a drape or kind of a blind that I pull down. I decided to go with natural lighting. So I hope that this is not annoying. But anyway, so like I was saying, they really admired that within you, and I feel like you're still standing really strong. You're good at taking care of yourselves, meeting your emotional needs, and the nurture that you brought to this person, I feel like you have the ability to bring the same thing to you. Okay, so in terms of like taking care of yourself and dealing with this aftermath of the connection ending, I think you're doing a really fabulous job of that, and I think there's a lot of admiration from your person in regards to just this aspect. Okay, I feel like they also keep an eye on you. I don't know if this is like obvious or not obvious, but they certainly do keep an eye on you. It could be via social media or what have you, but they're watching your life. They're watching you like really being okay, taking care of yourselves. And I feel like, there's this aspiration in them, I feel like, to become someone like that or someone like you. Okay, I really am getting that sense, like a lot of admiration. And like I said, your connection and you are definitely on your person's mind. And in fact, they're learning a lot from it. Okay, I don't think that they have moved on from this connection. I don't think that they have moved on from you, but it's like a recognition that, I better step up. I better level up to this person's energy. And I better have something like solid to offer. And not only that, like I need to change. I really need to change. I have problems. I have issues that need looking into. That kind of recognition. So can we get some more on the Judgment energy? Can we get some more on the Judgment energy, please, Spirit? Does this person miss you? Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Wholly, completely, terribly so. But I hope that I was able to understand, explain the hesitation that they might have at this time to really take that leap of faith and connect with you. Oh, another healing card, the Star. So yeah, the Judgment, as I said, is an infusion of like renewal energy, and the Star is all about healing. Okay, I also see the Star as somewhat like becoming more balanced in most of the renditions of the card, and I'm glad that it's the same in this one. We have one foot in the water. This person has their foot in the water and one is on the ground. So this is, balancing your the earth energy within you and your emotions. So in a way, I also look at becoming a more wholesome, balanced person. But definitely this card is about healing. So that happens through healing. And that's the process that they are on right now in their hermit mode, and it's happening. It's I feel like with your person, it's like a sincere effort to evolve and to change, because we have all these like new sprouts of like leaves on the wands, on the Eight of Wands. So I don't think like they're just they are casual about this or about the healing process, which is a great thing. Okay, because sometimes like when you're healing from something or when you're on the healing journey, you have to be deliberate and you have to take an interest in that, and it helps. I mean, you can be like mysteriously guided, okay, spiritually guided, and everything that you need for healing, that just kind of like comes to you magically. But if you become more involved and engaged with your healing process, if you offer it the attention that it deserves, it just enhances and speeds up the process. Yeah, that could be about the Eight of Wands as well. Like, this person is probably going to evolve and change much faster than you would suspect, or how it would happen if they just like had a disinterest in like being engaged and then just leaving it to life and leaving it to circumstances like prompting that change. Like, think of Corona and we being pushed into isolation. So it was not like by choice that we were all isolating, and we couldn't do that, of course. Like, we have to work and we have to eat. So and it was like mighty inconvenient in so many regards. So but things happen, circumstances in the world like just brought us into the place where it was needed that you sit in one place and you just stay stuck there. And a lot of plans got canceled. A lot of like I said, we really had to deal with a lot. And what that does is, brings about like spiritual, mental, emotional growth. But in this case, like I was saying, being more engaged as your person is with the healing process, it just speeds it up even more. Okay, so that is wonderful, actually. Can we get more on the reversed Knight of Wands energy? Can we get more on the reversed Knight of Wands, please? So if you're wondering at this point, like, should I wait for my person or should I not? I'm not getting a clear answer. I feel like for this pile, especially since your energy is coming up as like really strong and emotionally intelligent, I think like you should trust your intuition here. Okay, you should not listen to anyone who tells you like don't wait for this person and it's hopeless, or like telling you to move on, or someone else telling you like hang on to this. I feel like you would be the better judge or the best judge of that. So the reverse Knight of Wands, what's it about? Okay, we have the Emperor. Yeah, so the person is really coming into their power, okay, with the Emperor. And I feel like, it's funny I didn't take that card, but I was holding the deck, and when I was talking in the like a few seconds ago, and I was holding the deck this way and, like just changing sides, and maybe you got a glimpse at it too, but I saw the Empress energy down here and I wanted to take it. Like I intuitively felt like I should take it, but for some reason I didn't. But maybe maybe that is relevant here, their view of you, their perspective of you. So the Empress energy is against someone that is like, first of all, like very, very attractive to romantic partners. But this is also a energy of substance, so a man of substance or a woman of substance, and wanting the real deal. Okay, so I feel like with this connection, maybe you have been like very open about, where you're at, open with your feelings, sharing them like very freely and honestly, straight up with your person, and not like not sugarcoating it, or sometimes we get fearful of saying things that we want to say, but we keep it close to our chest. But with the Empress and the Queen of Cups energy, I feel like you really showed this person what it means to mean business. Okay, so I feel like with the reverse Knight of Wands energy, the pause, the hesitation is because your person is wanting to match that. They completely view you as, of course, the Queen of Cups, like somebody emotional but like so strong, and also the Empress as someone who would not taking less than the real deal, not take less than anything that implies like a complete wholesome connection. Okay, so I feel like they are coming into their power and wanting to do that. Okay, really wanting to mature, like the journey from the Page of Swords to the to the Emperor. Usually it's a long one, but I feel like it's rapidly happening here with your person, and they're wanting to make that change. They're desiring to become somebody in charge. The Emperor is someone like really strong. They are in charge of their emotions. They are in charge of every other element within them. A really balanced, strong energy, in control of their lives. So this could also be like your person with the Page of Swords energy. They're trying to figure out like the other areas of their life and kind of feel more powerful is the word that I'm getting, like feel more powerful, and able to give you what you truly deserve. Okay, by the way, if you hear any like noises in the background, like sighs or pitter patter of feet, that's my dog. She's just hanging out with us today in the reading. And we have the Eight of Swords to clarify the Hermit energy. So the Eight of Swords, and it's interesting, this card actually did come up for all the piles, okay? So there are definitely some like limiting beliefs that impede your person's growth and their transformation, and that are a hurdle in this journey of transformation and becoming the kind of person that they want to become. So I feel like your person in this hermit mode, this is all about like freeing themselves out of those binds. Okay, the analogy, and if you watched my reading before, maybe it's like really annoying at this point to hear this analogy come up again, but the analogy that I give with the Eight of Swords is like you put yourself in a prison cell, you lock the door, so you're holding the key, and then you throw the key far away, and then you tell people that you're thrown into prison. But it's really not that. It's like you put yourself in a prison by giving a lot of weight to your dysfunctional thoughts. So I feel like in this hermit mode, your person is shedding all of that. This is about them having to really look at what are my limiting beliefs, what are the thoughts that impede my ability to progress, as well as like connect to my person in this connection. Okay, so that is what is going on. Let's get some oracle cards and see, look into the energy even more. Spirit, can you please tell us like what's going on with this person even more? Okay, this jumped out. Stay optimistic about your love life. This card has kind of like that reflective, rainbow, reflective, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. So a little hard to focus, but it says stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So take the message as you will. Like I said, if you are desiring to bring about this connection again with your person, and if you want to do that, truly want to do that, not from a place of lack, not because you feel a void, not because like, oh, you miss them so much, but like truly desire because you understand the journey that they are on, and you can truly forgive the past and hold no resentments and all that good stuff, then the message is to stay optimistic. Okay, because like I said, like I truly feel that this person is honestly making an attempt to change. They really do desire to change the way they were. It was no longer serving them, and they're really having to look at their thoughts, the thoughts that got in the way of connecting with you in a more real way. Okay, so take this message as you will, but in the context of like your person, I feel like they are optimistic too about getting to the place that they want to get energetically and become who they want to become, in order to like really be able to give this connection and just like love and romance a chance. Okay, so they bring that optimism, and it's also because of like them being completely and honestly engaged in the healing process. Without optimism, that is not possible, right? So they want to become that person that can really function in a wholesome way in relationships. So I feel like this is talking to both of you. This card, it says heart with a key, welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together, perfect. So as I said, with some of you at least, and of course if you don't want to do this, you have complete authority there and you don't have to do it. But for some of you, there is a chance that this romance will be rekindled, and it's almost like your person sees you as someone that holds the key to their heart. Wow, that's beautiful. I don't know where that message came from, but I really feel like they see you as someone who really can offer them like true love. Okay, meeting the one, like the card says. and also keeping an open heart. So when I think of open heart, I think of a heart that's future focused and not like stuck with resentment and just like thinking about the past and things that went wrong in the past. So keeping your heart open might be important in this connection. I switched on my ring light just to illuminate these cards more, because it's like half of the cards are getting illuminated. I'm sorry if this is annoying, the lighting on my table. I'll be mindful of that in the next time, but I apologize for that. I'm seeing these cards in person. It's not really annoying me, but I don't know how they're appearing in the camera, and that ring light doesn't seem to be helping much. Well, it cannot compete with the sun, right? Nothing can. Oh, okay. We have serendipity. So I feel like maybe you guys met in ways that were very surprising, and like I said, I felt that energy from you, that you were at a point of time in your life that you were open to romance, and I feel like your person stepped in to your life as potential partner around the same time, and it seems to me like it was a very serendipitous, I can't pronounce it, but like something that has the energy of serendipity, like meeting someone in the least expected sort of a way, like I didn't expect to run into this person at the grocery store, or even when you were out and about, like in nature, as this card like represents. You could have met this person like while you were or in the summertime, because we have like a very bright sun shining. So but that's not necessary, but definitely getting that vibe for some of you. Whoops, I destroyed the spread. Sorry, I'm a little anal about the way the cards are laying on the table. So yeah, maybe during the summertime, but that's not important. But it kind of feels like it happened like at a time when you were like really ready and wanting to do that, and meeting someone in the least expected sort of a way. And I feel like this is something that is also on your person's mind and kind of makes them smile thinking about this meeting. And we also have an angel here, again trying to pick up the card carefully. We have an angel here, so I feel like you both were guided to each other, like this is about, like, this is totally different species. So I feel like your person was very different, and you were different for them, different than like your expectation, or compared to what you expect or expected at the time, the kind of person that you usually connect with and you had imagined. And I feel like this was a total contrast, but I feel like it's a divinely guided connection that happened. And when I got the Ten of Swords, I kind of felt like it's an ending that needed to happen, this withdrawal of their energy from the connection. I'm also feeling like this connection itself needed to happen for the two of you to grow spiritually and evolve spiritually. Let's get some more cards. Can we get some more on the connection? Beautiful energy to the spread, like especially that the highlight for me in this reading is an honest desire coming through from your person's energy to transform, and an honest desire to heal and to become better. Like that is so beautiful to me. Let's see, we have power with lightning. Okay, so it's possible, like when I see the lightning, I'm reminded of the tower somehow, and there are two things that are coming through from this card. One is like maybe a tower moment happened, so maybe this, the break in the connection, them withdrawing from it, either partially or completely. This may have been something that really caught you by surprise, and I feel like, you know, I'm constantly reading like where your person is at, and that's the like larger question that I'm answering. So I feel like they recognize that, the effect of, you know, a tower moment like that, somebody walking out of the connection, how it might have affected you. Also, I feel like, you know, with the tower that it reminds me of, I feel like the tower moment again was necessary. And what else was I trying to say? I completely forgot. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'll come back to it, like when I get the message again, or when I can remember it. But there was a train of thought that I really lost. But basically, like, think of lightning striking, like that seems like an act of nature almost, like nobody can control it, like where the lightning goes or what it strikes. And it created a lot of, like, I feel like upheaval in the waves as it does in this card. So I feel like, you know, even for your person, there's a recognition that the change that happened in this connection not only like deeply affected you, but it deeply affected them too. But again, because, you know, lightning, we think of like, you know, an natural external power bringing that about. I feel like, again, very much needed in the moment. Like, it was something that was meant to happen almost, and good for both of you, okay? Because through that process, we have the energy of healing and of revival or renewal coming through. And without a lightning moment, maybe that wasn't possible. Oh my God. The top part of the reading table is completely like very bright sunlight. Let me see if I zoom in. Does it make it better? Oh, where's the zoom button on this camera? Oh, there we go. Does zooming in make it better? No, not really. Okay. I again apologize for the lighting, and let me know in the comments below if you found that annoying. And also, please let me know in the comments below how this reading resonated with you. Okay? Oh, and I'm seeing a connection with this card, the pile selection card that you guys picked for the reading, the whatever's right. Oh my God, since I did my nails, it's been so challenging to pick up cards from the table. But whatever, I hope that you remember the card. I'm not going to be able to pick it up again, but whatever's right, that's what the card says. And being guided by your own heart, and really, you know, taking the decisions based on what your heart guides you to do in this situation. And I feel like it applies to both of you, okay? Like I said in the beginning, if you want a reconnection, a rekindling of the connection, you will have to kind of rely on your judgment and your intuitive guidance. And even if it means like to forgive this person, despite, you know, the details of your connection might have been very harsh and very difficult to deal with at the time, maybe you are still being divinely guided to forgive them and to understand this. And I do hope that this reading provides a little bit more understanding as to like what was going on under the surface with your person. But sometimes, you know, it's like, it's very different what we are guided to do than how we initially felt when, you know, like things were falling apart. So I feel like let your heart be the guide for both of you. Okay, and get some more on this connection, on the person's energy that pile 3 is thinking about. Okay. Oh, we have birth, rebirth. Look at that. This is the Judgment card in oracle form. Okay, so I feel like definitely renewal and wanting renewal, since we are getting like your person's vibe here, getting more insight into like where your person is at energetically. Birth, rebirth. That's like I said, like wanting to change, wanting to evolve and go to like greater heights, spiritually speaking. I totally see that with this card as well. It's kind of like a reconfirmation and reiteration. Let's see where their focus is at right now. What are they wanting to manifest in their life. I'm gonna take this one. Oh, it says marriage. Oh my God. Look at that. So for some of you, your person is thinking of marriage, and they do look at you with a lot of admiration. So they do see the potential in this connection. And definitely for some of you, marriage and giving you that full commitment is on their minds with this beautiful card. Or just becoming more prepared and feeling more powerful within themselves so that they can envision that with you in this connection, because marriage is really like, you make the connection like super serious with marriage. Okay, and that is something really on their minds, and that kind of makes me think of the Emperor energy. The Emperor is someone who would be capable of making that decision of like getting married to someone, and currently I feel like a person's journey or their desire is to get to that place where they can be very assertive with their feelings. Okay, so that is beautiful. That is awesome. Let's get some more. Can we get some more on this connection? There's this person's energy for pile 3. There's the person's energy for pile 3. Just a very beautiful reading. This reading actually put me in a very good mood, to be honest with you. Like all the elements of the reading, starting with even the card, whatever's right, and following your heart, and just everything that comes through is just making me really optimistic for this connection. It says intuition, Bat Island. So intuition, again, I feel like this message is for both of you, but also for your person. I feel like they're tuning into their intuition and really believing that. I feel like in this reading, that's the intuitive hit that I'm getting. If their intuition is, for example, whoops, the camera moved, sorry. If their intuition, for example, is guiding them towards you and towards this connection, they are believing that. And also with the changes that they are undergoing, the transformation that they are undergoing, I'm loving this energy that they are really trusting their intuition in in whatever it says as the next steps in their lives as they're moving through on this journey. So that's very beautiful. Keep doing that, pile 3's person. That's what I would say to them. So what else? What is this person's vibe at this moment? What are they up to? Okay, I'm gonna go to this card. Oh, self-heal. Look at that. So again, the Hermit energy, and ripple outward. And you see how there's a ripple outward and there's a drop or something dropped into the water. So I feel like, through this healing journey, your person is really understanding the spiritual principle of like what's within creates some kind of like an outcome without. So understanding that their own energy needs to be on point and needs to be aligned with whatever they are wanting to create in their life, and the self-healing, the inward journey that they are on. This is the Hermit card, the Star card, and also the Judgment somewhat in oracle form, but this is really like understanding how their inner self is reflected in the outer self, and understanding like maybe their mistakes and the details of your connection, whatever transpired between the two of you, how that is related to who they are. So like I said, you and your connection is really on this person's mind. In fact, that has become sort of like the thing that has instigated their healing journey, as I was saying. So let's get some channeled. Actually, I want to draw one more card, one last card, and then we'll go to channel the messages. What would your person say to you if they could? Coming up in a moment. But one last card for pile 3 and understanding like what their person is up to and where their energy is at. A very hopeful reading. I love that. Whoops. These cards are always taken like upright. It says penguin with diamond light activation. Light activation and new energies are coming your way. Be open to receive and welcome them. Wow. Now that it's like Spirit is repeating all the messages from the tarot in oracle form, so I think like it's a good choice to like end the oracle read here. Judgment, renewal energy, new activations, new understandings and revelations, and becoming a whole new self. Need I say more about this card? I don't think so. So moving to the channel messages, what would your person say to you, Pile 3, if they could? So what would your person say to you, Pile 3, if they could? Wow, as I'm drawing these cards, it's time for me to heal now. But a quick note on, as I was like shuffling the cards, I was feeling like for no reason, I'm sitting here filming and nothing's really like threatening environment, but I felt like kind of like pang of fear, and I feel like that to me is like representative of like your person's energy, because I'm tuned into their energy right now. So it could be like even saying something to you at this time might bring up feelings of fear. So but this is, you know, think of these messages as me tuned in to their higher self, and we are asking their higher self about like what they would want to say to you if they ever got to a chance to do that. Messages from their higher self. Let's look at it this way. Hide behind material things. So for some of you, your person, you know, like I said, they might, with the Ten of Swords energy, I got that they might not be or might not have been very like open and verbal about their feelings and how they or why they did things that they did. And it could be like they were hiding behind like pursuits in their like material aspects. So think about like career and work, but that was just a strategy, is what your person is trying to say to you. Just a strategy to hide, just a sort of defense mechanism, if you will. So what does their higher self want to say to you, Pile 3? What does their higher self want to say to you? Okay, this jumped out. I wish I had treated you better. Oh, definitely, we are getting that. There is regret, but they're learning from it, so it's all good, all good. But they definitely wish that they would have treated you much better, in a much better way. What would their higher self say to you, Pile 3? At least they recognize it, which is great. We will be together again. So for some of you, I'm really getting this energy of like rekindled romance and them coming back into your life again. With the Eight of Wands energy, I got that intuitive message too. So for some of you, definitely, and with the marriage card here, it feels like your person is planning to come back into your life. I'm not getting the sense of when that would happen, and I feel like it's not important. I'm starting to understand our connection. This is so beautiful. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. Like I said, are you on their mind all the time? Are they thinking about this connection? Yes. And are they learning from it? Yes. And in learning from the connection, they're also understanding it in a much better way. New realizations all over with your person. Love that. Let's get one more. What would they say to you if they could? Or what does their higher self, what does their higher self want to say to you, Pile 3? Oh, for some of you it says I'm not available, but I feel like this is, you know, a message that is connect to like the relationship in the past, like how it transpired. Like I said, at the time they were definitely not available for the connection. And also I feel like this connection, since it might have happened in ways which really surprised the both of you, and I feel like you were more available to a relationship and they were not, and it happened like in unplanned sort of ways. I feel like they recognize, and also with the reverse Knight of Wands, initially I got that intuitive hit where I thought, you know, your person kind of like went with the flow or rushed into it too fast, and at the time like they were not available. Yeah. So it feels like an energy from the past, but transformation is happening. Okay. Now, I'm gonna close this reading off here. Do I want to take like guidance messages for you? Okay, maybe I will. Okay, but if you are satisfied with the reading up until this point and you got the answers that you were looking for, and the messages that you were seeking, then you can feel free to exit the reading at this time, and I'll just see you in my next reading. But I'm going to take some oracle cards for guidance for you, you that are watching this reading, to help you you know, understand the things that you should be doing, specific things that you should be doing at this time, especially for those of you that are not in contact with your person. And like I said, the undertone of the question that we are getting answer for today is kind of sad, and you know, do they really miss me? And it has the underpinning or like the undercurrent of sadness. So let's get some advice for you, like what you should be doing at this time to heal, to feel better in this connection. What can you do to align yourself better to love and relationships? Okay. Oh, for some of you the message is wait. I hope you can see that. I'm so sorry about the lighting. Okay. But it says wait. It says honor your resistance. Sometimes no action is the best action of all. So first of all, like if you are wondering if you should be doing something, I think the message here is to just allow this time of transformation, of healing that your person is going through, and definitely like no action is needed from you, and take it, like I said, how it resonates. Like if you are someone who are wanting to rekindle this connection, then the message is to wait. And I feel like waiting will pay off in the sense that, you know, this person will come back to you, and I definitely got that from the rest of the reading, that for some of you at least, they are thinking of rekindling the connection and thinking of you. And I mean, you have been on their mind almost like constantly. So, but basically you don't need to do anything at this point to bring about that reconnection. Okay, what else? We have, for some of you, enhance your physical health. So this depends on like how near to this point that you're watching this reading, this no contact situation happened, or the, you know, like relationship went south, but that might have affected your health somewhat. So you could really use some sustenance in aiding with your healing process, like physical healing. Think about reading the message on the back of the card. It says, think about how you view yourself as a physical being. Do you perceive yourself as weak or strong? Do you tend to make excuses for why you're not proactive in your healing when you see what can and should be done? Your goal: to initiate one positive action in your life to enhance your physical health. So really, I'm getting the sense that some of you were affected, and it is affecting your health. This connection is, or whatever happened in the connection is, and this is, you know, divine reminder. Don't ignore yourself, and feed yourself with like actual food that is good for you. and it really helps. It's like everything, you know, like our physical body connected to our mental health, our spiritual health, and I think at this point we all know that. So yeah, that is the message for those of you especially that have been kind of ignoring it. Okay, let's get another message. What can you do at this point? It says embrace the flow of life. This makes me think of the first card here, like wait, in which, you know, the message is to just go with the flow, and of course, like going with the flow has a big portion or a big element in that is allowing your heart to guide you, but keep doing what you're doing. Focusing on other things for now is fine, and embracing whatever life is bringing you is fine as well. Okay, I'm drawing a card from the Archangel Michael deck, and if you're someone that does not believe in the concept of angels, you're turned off by that, just ignore the angel like images on the card and just take the message, and that is fine as well. But I really like these cards, this oracle deck. Oops, here we go. Oh wow, decide to be happy now. It says, thank you for helping me open my heart to happiness, joy, and bliss. I'm now willing to see all of the goodness in my life. So again, prioritizing your well-being at this time is really important, pile 3. Really taking care of yourself and doing things that make you feel joyful. And this reminds me again, like a very similar thing happened with pile 2's reading. I was very much reminded of the teachings by Esther Hicks, Abraham and Esther Hicks, and you don't have to like really subscribe to that, to those teachings, but basically I really like them, and I feel like they are quite profound, but sometimes like what can turn people off, and I know I'm digressing a little bit, but what can turn people off is the way she puts it. So, but if you understand the essence of the message, it's like when you are in a joyful place, when your vibration is high, you're likely to attract all the good things in life. So again, especially for those of you that are not feeling so great at this, the message is to really focus on yourself and moment to moment ensuring that your joy, your happiness, your well-being is prioritized. So I hope that this reading was helpful. I think I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below how the message resonated, if you found the reading helpful in any ways. You have no idea how much I love hearing from you guys, the feedback that you give, the few seconds that you take to type in a message. It really means a lot. And yeah, like the video if you like the reading, and I hope you will subscribe for more future readings to come. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye.